A264. Luke 2. 1. But it occurred in those days that a command also went out from Augustus Caesar that every nation of his empire would be registered. 2. This census was the first in the government of Quirinus in Syria. 3. And everyone was going to be registered in his own city. 4. But Joseph had come up from Nazareth, a city of Galilee, to Judea to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was from the house and from the lineage of David. 5. With Miriam his bride when she was pregnant, that he might be registered there. 6. And it was, that while they were there, the days were completed for her to give birth. 7. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and she wrapped him in swaddling bands, and she laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them where they might lodge. 8. But there were some shepherds in the region lodging there, and they kept the nightly watch over their flocks. 9. And behold, the angel of YEHOVAH came to them, and the glory of ELOHEEM Jehovah shone upon them, and they were greatly afraid. 10. And the angel said to them, Do not be afraid, for behold, I proclaim to you great joy which will be to the entire universe. 11. For today, the Savior has been born to you, who is ELOHEEM Jehovah the Messiah, in the city of David. 12. And this is a sign for you. You will find the baby wrapped in swaddling bands and lying in a manger. 13. And suddenly, the great armies of heaven appeared with the angel, while shouting praises to YEHOVAH, and they were saying. 14. Glory to YEHOVAH in heaven, and upon earth peace, good news to the children of men. 15. It was that as the angels went from them into heaven, the shepherds spoke one with another and they were saying, Let us go as far as Bethlehem, and we shall see this event that has occurred as ELOHEEM Jehovah has revealed to us. 16. And they came quickly and they found Miriam and Joseph and the baby who was lying in a manger. 17. And when they had seen, they made known the words that had been spoken with them about the boy. 18. And all who heard marveled concerning those things that were spoken to them by the shepherds. 19. But Miriam was keeping all these words and was pondering in her heart. 20. And the shepherds returned as they glorified and praised YEHOVAH concerning everything, because they had seen and heard just as it had been spoken with them. 21. And when the 8 days were complete that the boy should be circumcised, his name was called Yeshua, which he was called by the angel, before he would have been conceived in the womb. 22. And when the days were fulfilled that they should be purified according to the law of Moses, they carried him to Jerusalem to present him before ELOHEEM Jehovah. 23. As it is written in the law of ELOHEEM Jehovah, every male who opens the womb will be called a holy one of ELOHEEM Jehovah. 24. And to offer a sacrifice, just like that which was said in the law of ELOHEEM Jehovah, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young doves. 25. But one man was there in Jerusalem, whose name was Shimeon, and this man was just and righteous, and he was waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Spirit of holiness was upon him. 26. And it was told him by the Spirit of holiness that he would not see death until he would see the Messiah of ELOHEEM Jehovah. 27. This one had come by the Spirit of holiness to the temple, and as his parents brought the boy Yeshua to do for him just as it was commanded in the law. 28. He took him in his arms and he blessed YEHOVAH and said. 29. Now send your servant in peace, my Elohim, according to your word. 30. Behold, my eyes have seen your mercy. 31. Him whom you have prepared in the sight of all the peoples. 32. The light for the revelation of the Gentiles and the glory to your people Israel. 33. But Joseph and his mother were marveling at those things which were spoken about him. 34. And Shimeon blessed them and said to Miriam his mother, Behold, this one is appointed for the fall and the rise of many in Israel, and for a sign of contention. 35. And a lance will pass through into your soul, so that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. 36. And Hannah the prophetess, daughter of Phanuel from the tribe of Asher, she was also in her old age, and had lived with her husband 7 years after her virginity. 37. And she had been a widow about 84 years, and she had not departed from the temple, and with fastings and with prayers she was serving by day and night. 38. She was also standing in it at that hour, and she gave thanks to ELOHEEM Jehovah, and was speaking about him with everyone who was waiting for the redemption of Jerusalem. 39. And when they had finished everything according to that which is in the law of ELOHEEM Jehovah, they returned to Galilee to Nazareth their city. 40. But the boy was growing and being strengthened in spirit, and he was filled with wisdom, and the grace of YEHOVAH was upon him. 41. And every year his people were going to Jerusalem at the feast of Passover. 42. And when he was 12 years old, they went out to the feast just as they had been accustomed. 43. And when the days were past, they were returning, but the boy Yeshua had remained in Jerusalem, and Yosef and his mother did not know it. 44. For they were thinking that he was with the children of their friends, and when they had come a journey of one day, they looked for him among their people, and among whoever knew them. 45. And they did not find him, and they returned again to Jerusalem and they were looking for him. 46. After 3 days, they found him in the temple as he sat in the midst of the teachers, and he heard from them, and he was inquiring of them. 47. And all who were listening to him were astounded at his wisdom and at his discourses. 48. And when they saw him, they marveled, and his mother said to him, My son, why have you done this to us? Look, your father and I were looking for you with great anxiety. 49. He said to them, Why were you looking for me? Do you not know that it was fitting for me to be in my father's house? 50. But they did not understand the statement that he spoke to them. 51. And he went down with them and he came to Nazareth, and he was submitted to them, but his mother was keeping all these words in her heart. 52. But Yeshua was growing in his stature and in his wisdom and in favor with YEHOVAH and the children of men. Hebrews 9. 1. But in the first there was an order of ministry and a worldly sanctuary. 2. For the first tabernacle that was made there had the menorah and the table of showbread, and it was called the holy place. 3. But the inner tabernacle from within the second veil was called the Holy of Holies. 4. And there was in it the golden place of incense and the ark of the covenant, all overlaid with gold, and it had a pot of gold in which was manna and the rod of Aaron which budded, and the tablets of the covenant. 5. And above, the cherubim of glory, which shrouded over the mercy seat, but there is no time for us to speak about each one of these things, which were thus fashioned. 6. But the priests were always entering the outer tabernacle and performing their ministry. 7. But the high priest would enter the inner tabernacle once a year by himself with blood, which he was offering in the place of his soul, and in the place of the evil doing of the people. 8. But by this the Spirit of holiness had taught that the way of holiness had not yet been revealed, as long as the first tabernacle was standing. 9. And this was a symbol for that time in which gifts and sacrifices were offered, which were not able to perfect the conscience of him who offers them. 10. Except in food and drink only, and in various washings, which are ordinances of the flesh that are established until the time of Reformation. 11. But the Messiah who has come has become the high priest of the good things that he did, and he entered the great and perfect tabernacle, which is not made with hands, and was not from these created things. 12. And he did not enter with blood of yearling goats and of calves, but with his own blood, he entered the holy place one time, and has achieved eternal redemption. 13. For if the blood of kids and of calves and the ashes of a heifer were sprinkled on those who were defiled, and it sanctified them for the purifying of their flesh. 14. How much more therefore will the blood of the Messiah, who by the eternal Spirit offered himself without blemish to YEHOVAH, purify our conscience from dead works that we may serve the living YEHOVAH? 15. Because of this, he is the mediator of the new covenant, for in his death he is salvation to those who violated the first covenant, that we, those who were called to eternal inheritance, would receive the promise. 16. For where there is a testament, it shows the death of him who made it. 17. But it is only valid concerning one who is dead, because as long as he who made it lives, there is no use for it. 18. Because of this, not even the first was established without blood. 19. For when the entire ordinance which was in the law had been commanded by Moses to all the people, Moses took the blood of a heifer and water with scarlet wool, and hyssop, and sprinkled upon the scrolls and upon all the people. 20. And he said to them, This is the blood of the covenant which was commanded you by YEHOVAH. 21. Also he sprinkled blood upon the tabernacle and upon all the vessels of the ministry. 22. Because all things are purged by blood in the written law, and without the shedding of blood there is no forgiveness. 23. For it is necessary that these things which are symbols of the heavenly are purified by these things, but the heavenly by better sacrifices than these. 24. For it was not the holy place made by hands that the Messiah entered, and which was the symbol of the real one, but he entered heaven to appear before the face of YEHOVAH in our place. 25. And not that he should offer himself many times, as the high priest was doing, and entered the holy place every year with blood that was not his. 26. Otherwise, he ought to have suffered many times from the beginning of the world, but now in the end of the world, he has offered himself one time to destroy sin by his sacrifice. 27. And just as it is appointed to the children of men to die once, and after their deaths the judgment. 28. In this way also, the Messiah was offered one time, and he slaughtered in his person the sins of the many, but the second time he appears without our sins, for the life of those who expect him. Numbers 18. 1. And Elohim spoke to Aaron, saying, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house shall bear the sins of the holy things, and thou and thy sons shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. 2. And take to thyself thy brethren the tribe of Levi, the family of thy father, and let them be joined to thee, and let them minister to thee, and thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. 3. And they shall keep thy charges, and the charges of the tabernacle, only they shall not approach the holy vessels and the altar, so both they and you shall not die. 4. And they shall be joined to thee, and shall keep the charges of the tabernacle of witness, in all the services of the tabernacle, and a stranger shall not approach to thee. 5. And ye shall keep the charges of the holy things, and the charges of the altar, and so there shall not be anger among the children of Israel. 6. And I have taken your brethren the Levites out of the midst of the children of Israel, a present given to Elohim, to minister in the services of the tabernacle of witness. 7. And thou and thy sons after thee shall keep up your priestly ministration, according to the whole manner of the altar, and that which is within the veil, and ye shall minister in the services as the office of your priesthood, and the stranger that comes near shall die. 8. And Elohim said to Aaron, And, behold, I have given you the charge of the first fruits of all things consecrated to me by the children of Israel, and I have given them to thee as an honor, and to thy sons after thee for a perpetual ordinance. 9. And let this be to you from all the holy things that are consecrated to me, even the burnt offerings, from all their gifts, and from all their sacrifices, and from every trespass offering of theirs, and from all their sin offerings, whatever things they give to me of all their holy things, they shall be thine and thy sons. 10. In the most holy place shall ye eat them, every male shall eat them, thou and thy sons. They shall be holy to thee. 11. And this shall be to you of the first fruits of their gifts, of all the wave offerings of the children of Israel, to thee have I given them, and to thy sons and thy daughters with thee, a perpetual ordinance, every clean person in thy house shall eat them. 12. Every first offering of oil, and every first offering of wine, their first fruits of corn, whatsoever they may give to Elohim, to thee have I given them. 13. All the first fruits that are in their land, whatsoever they shall offer to Elohim, shall be thine. Every clean person in thy house shall eat them. 14. Every devoted thing among the children of Israel shall be thine. 15. And everything that opens the womb of all flesh, whatsoever they bring to Elohim, whether man or beast, shall be thine. Only the firstborn of men shall be surely redeemed, and thou shalt redeem the firstborn of unclean cattle. 16. And the redemption of them shall be from a month old, their valuation of 5 shekels, it is 20 oboli, according to the holy shekel. 17. But thou shalt not redeem the firstborn of calves and the firstborn of sheep and the firstborn of goats, they are holy. And thou shalt pour their blood upon the altar, and thou shalt offer the fat as a burnt offering for a smell of sweet savor to Elohim. 18. And the flesh shall be thine, as also the breast of the wave offering, and as the right shoulder, it shall be thine. 19. Every special offering of the holy things, whatsoever the children of Israel shall specially offer to Elohim, I have given to thee and to thy sons and to thy daughters with thee, a perpetual ordinance. It is a covenant of salt forever before Elohim, for thee and thy seed after thee. 20. And Elohim said to Aaron, Thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any portion among them, for I am thy portion and thine inheritance in the midst of the children of Israel. 21. And, behold, I have given to the sons of Levi every tithe in Israel for an inheritance for their services, whereinsoever they perform ministry in the tabernacle of witness. 22. And the children of Israel shall no more draw nigh to the tabernacle of witness to incur fatal guilt. 23. And the Levite himself shall perform the service of the tabernacle of witness, and they shall bear their iniquities, it is a perpetual statute throughout their generations, and in the midst of the children of Israel, they shall not receive an inheritance. 24. Because I have given as a distinct portion to the Levites for an inheritance the tithes of the children of Israel, whatsoever they shall offer to Elohim, therefore I said to them, in the midst of the children of Israel, they shall have no inheritance. 25. And Elohim spoke to Moses, saying, 26. Thou shalt also speak to the Levites, and shalt say to them, If ye take the tithe from the children of Israel, which I have given you from them for an inheritance, then shall ye separate from it a heave offering to Elohim, a tenth of the tenth. 27. And your heave offerings shall be reckoned to you as corn from the floor, and an offering from the winepress. 28. So shall ye also separate them from all the offerings of Elohim out of all your tithes, whatsoever ye shall receive from the children of Israel, and ye shall give of them an offering to Elohim to Aaron the priest. 29. Of all your gifts ye shall offer an offering to Elohim, and of every first fruit the consecrated part from it. 30. And thou shalt say to them, when ye shall offer the first fruits from it, then shall it be reckoned to the Levites as produce from the threshing floor, and as produce from the wine press. 31. And ye shall eat it in any place, ye and your families, for this is your reward for your services in the tabernacle of witness. 32. And ye shall not bear sin by reason of it, for ye shall have offered an offering of first fruits from it, and ye shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, that ye die not. Jeremiah 44. 1. The word that came to Jeremiah is for all the Jews dwelling in the land of Egypt, and for those settled in Magdolo and in Taphnes, and in the land of Pethura, saying, 2. Thus has Elohim Jehovah of Israel said, Ye have seen all the evils which I have brought upon Jerusalem, and upon the cities of Judah, and, behold, they are desolate without inhabitants. 3. Because of their wickedness, which they have wrought to provoke me by going to burn incense to other gods, whom ye knew not. 4. Yet I sent to you my servants the prophets early in the morning, and I sent, saying, Do not ye this abominable thing which I hate. 5. But they hearkened not to me, and inclined not their ear to turn from their wickedness, so as not to burn incense to strange gods. 6. So mine anger and my wrath dropped upon them, and was kindled in the gates of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem, and they became a desolation and a waste, as at this day. 7. And now thus has Elohim Almighty said, Wherefore do ye commit these great evils against your souls? To cut off man and woman of you, infant and suckling from the midst of Judah, to the end that not one of you should be left. 8. By provoking me with the works of your hands, to burn incense to other gods in the land of Egypt, into which ye entered to dwell there, that ye might be cut off, and that ye might become a curse and a reproach among all the nations of the earth. 9. Have ye forgotten the sins of your fathers, and the sins of the kings of Judah, and the sins of your princes, and the sins of your wives, which they wrought in the land of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem? 10. And have not ceased even to this day, and they have not kept to my ordinances, which I set before their fathers. 11. Therefore thus saith Elohim, Behold I do set my face against you. 12. To destroy all the remnant that are in Egypt, and they shall fall by the sword, and by famine, and shall be consumed small and great. And they shall be for reproach, and for destruction, and for a curse. 13. And I will visit them that dwell in the land of Egypt, as I have visited Jerusalem, with sword and with famine. 14. And there shall not one be preserved of the remnant of Judah that sojourn in the land of Egypt, to return to the land of Judah, to which they hope in their hearts to return. They shall not return, but only they that escape. 15. Then all the men that knew that their wives burned incense, and all the women, a great multitude, and all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt, in Pethura, answered Jeremiah, saying, 16. As for the word which thou hast spoken to us in the name of Elohim, we will not hearken to thee. 17. For we will surely perform every word that shall proceed out of our mouth, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour drink offerings to her, as we and our fathers have done, and our kings and princes, in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem. And so we were filled with bread, and were well, and saw no evils. 18. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, we have all been brought low, and have been consumed by sword and by famine. 19. And whereas we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven, and poured drink offerings to her, did we make cakes to her, and pour drink offerings to her, without our husbands? 20. Then Jeremiah answered all the people, the mighty men, and the women, and all the people that returned him these words for answer, saying, 21. Did not Elohim remember the incense which ye burned in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem, ye, and your fathers, and your kings, and your princes, and the people of the land? And came it not into his heart? 22. And Elohim could no longer bear you, because of the wickedness of your doings, and because of your abominations which ye wrought, and so your land became a desolation and a waste, and a curse, as at this day. 23. Because of your burning incense, and because of the things wherein ye sinned against Elohim. And ye have not hearkened to the voice of Elohim, and have not walked in his ordinances, and in his law, and in his testimonies, and so these evils have come upon you. 24. And Jeremiah said to the people, and to the women, Hear ye the word of Elohim. 25. Thus has Elohim Jehovah of Israel said, Ye women have spoken with your mouth, and ye fulfilled it with your hands, saying, We will surely perform our vows that we have vowed, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour drink offerings to her. Full well did ye keep to your vows, and ye have indeed performed them. 26. Therefore hear ye the word of Elohim, all Jews dwelling in the land of Egypt, behold, I have sworn by my great name, saith Elohim, my name shall no longer be in the mouth of every Jew to say, Elohim lives, in all the land of Egypt. 27. For I have watched over them, to hurt them, and not to do them good. And all the Jews dwelling in the land of Egypt shall perish by sword and by famine, until they are utterly consumed. 28. And they that escape the sword shall return to the land of Judah few in number, and the remnant of Judah, who have continued in the land of Egypt to dwell there, shall know whose word shall stand. 29. And this shall be a sign to you, that I will visit you for evil. 30. Thus said Elohim, behold, I will give Uephar's king of Egypt into the hands of his enemy, and into the hands of one that seeks his life, as I gave Zedekiah's king of Judah into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, his enemy, and who sought his life. Jeremiah 45. 1. The word which Jeremias the prophet spoke to Baruch son of Neriah, when he wrote these words in the book from the mouth of Jeremias, in the 4th year of Joachim, the son of Josiah king of Judah. 2. Thus has Elohim said to thee, O Baruch. 3. Whereas thou hast said, Alas, alas. For Elohim has laid a grievous trouble upon me, I lay down in groaning, I found no rest. 4. Say thou to him, Thus saith Elohim, behold, I pull down those whom I have built up, and I pluck up those whom I have planted. 5. And wilt thou seek great things for thyself? Seek them not. For, behold, I bring evil upon all flesh, saith Elohim. But I will give to thee thy life for a spoil in every place whither thou shalt go. Proverbs 1. 1. The Proverbs of Solomon son of David, who reigned in Israel. 2. Wisdom and instruction, and to perceive words of understanding. 3. To receive also hard saying, and to understand true justice, and how to direct judgment. 4. That he might give subtlety to the simple, and to the young man discernment and understanding. 5. For by the hearing of these a wise man will be wiser, and man of understanding will gain direction. 6. And will understand a parable, and a dark speech, the saying of the wise also, and riddles. 7. The fear of Elohim is the beginning of wisdom, and there is good understanding to all that practice it. And piety toward Jehovah is the beginning of discernment, but the ungodly will set at naught wisdom and instruction. 8. Hear my son, the instruction of thy father, and reject not the rules of thy mother. 9. For thou shalt receive for thine head a crown of graces, and a chain of gold round thy neck. 10. My son, let not ungodly men lead thee astray, neither consent thou to them. 11. If they should exhort thee, saying, Come with us, partake in blood, and let us unjustly hide the just man in the earth. 12. And let us swallow him alive, as Hades would, and remove the memorial of him from the earth. 13. Let us seize on his valuable property, and let us fill our houses with spoils. 14. But do thou cast in thy lot with us, and let us all provide a common purse, and let us have one pouch. 15. Go not in the way with them, but turn aside thy foot from their paths. 17. For nets are not without cause spread for birds. 18. For they that are concerned in murder store up evils for themselves, and the overthrow of transgressors is evil. 19. These are the ways of all that perform lawless deeds, for by ungodliness they destroy their own life. 20. Wisdom sings aloud in passages, and in the broad places speaks boldly. 21. And she makes proclamation on the top of the walls, and sits by the gates of princes, and at the gates of the city boldly says. 22. So long as the simple cleave to justice, they shall not be ashamed. But the foolish being lovers of haughtiness, having become ungodly have hated knowledge, and are become subject to reproofs. 23. Behold, I will bring forth to you the utterance of my breath, and I will instruct you in my speech. 24. Since I called, and ye did not hearken, and I spoke at length, and ye gave no heed. 25. But ye set at naught my counsels, and disregarded my reproofs. 26. Therefore I also will laugh at your destruction, and I will rejoice against you when ruin comes upon you. 27. Yea, when dismay suddenly comes upon you, and your overthrow shall arrive like a tempest, and when tribulation and distress shall come upon you, or when ruin shall come upon you. 28. For it shall be that when ye call upon me, I will not hearken to you. Wicked men shall seek me, but shall not find me. 29. For they hated wisdom, and did not choose the word of Elohim. 30. Neither would they attend to my counsels, but derided my reproofs. 31. Therefore shall they eat the fruits of their own way, and shall be filled with their own ungodliness. 32. For because they wronged the simple, they shall be slain, and an inquisition shall ruin the ungodly. 33. But he that hearkens to me shall dwell in confidence, and shall rest securely from all evil.